Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to our international press review in the papers today with Catherine Spencer, Catherine Chavez and Uribe.
Right, yeah. Starting off with the Figaro, it's got an article discussing their forthcoming meeting today at an oil refinery in Venezuela after months of unbridled tensions. Now, the Figaro looks at the sort of reasons for the breakdown in the relationship in the first place over Chavez's attempts to mediate for Ingrid Betancourt's release, and how obviously her subsequent release as a result of a daring raid by the Colombian government has left him very much humbled, and it sort of changed the dynamic between the two. And staying with that theme, El Tiempo, which is a Colombian newspaper, also discusses it, and it says that it talks about Chavez's dramatic change of mind. So, I mean, a few months ago he was saying, "I'm never going to speak to that liar again," when he was talking about Uribe, his Colombian counterpart. This time he's saying, "I will welcome him as a friend and brother." And Uribe, for his part, is saying that he's very enthusiastic about the meeting in Venezuela.
So that's Chavez finding that humble pie tastes, well,
yeah, he's
not so good.
He's not having the best of times.
Another man in a difficult situation, Gordon Brown in the UK.
Also not terribly popular at home at the moment. The Independent, the front page, says Brown's African misadventure, and it's got a rather terrifying picture of a rebel with some sort of heavy-duty firearm. It basically is hugely critical of Brown's offer of military aid to the Nigerian government. Now, I think what his thinking is, well, it'll help to restore stability to the area, which can only be a good thing to bring down oil prices. But what the Independent's saying is that it's a hugely misguided gesture, that the solution to the problem is political and not military, and that at a time when Britain's image in the world is at an all-time, or its reputation, it's at an all-time low, that if it wades in with both feet here, it's only going to further harm its reputation overseas, and it also could be leave itself open to being accused of making a grab for the oil. So it's not perhaps a most well-considered offer that Brown
yes,
has made.
A superpower making, a big power making a bid for something to do with oil. That's the kind of story you wouldn't expect to happen, isn't it? Okay, let's move on to another story you got here about a sort of a strange kind of angle on the US presidential race.
Well, yes, it all boils down to a technicality. The New York Times has an article which says McCain's eligibility is disputed by Professor. Now, apparently, Professor Gabriel J. Chin argues that because he's not a natural-born citizen, I don't know how many people know, but he was actually born in the Panama Canal Zone. Both his parents were American, but because he was born in 1936, and a law which came in 1937 saying that the children of American parents born outside of America were naturalised citizens, he missed that law. So this professor's arguing that basically he isn't a natural-born citizen, and
so
therefore
the headline
he's not.
here is that McCain's actually from Panama. That's quite interesting, isn't
I think what it is actually he came from a military family. His parents were actually stationed overseas serving the country, so it's perhaps a little bit of a. I think it would be going a bit far.
It's a bit of a tenuous one, isn't it?
It's a little bit of a tenuous one, and in fact, the Senate, I think in April, said that he was eligible. So
okay, let's get to the one we can sing about, Carla Bruni.
Yeah, just finally, the Scotsman has a nice article about Carla Bruni Sarkozy, who's got her latest album coming out at the moment. But the point of the article is really how on earth does she do it? How does she do it? She's gone from being a supermodel to a singer to a politician's wife. And the article says the first rule is don't follow what Sherry Blair says, because Carla, I think, on a radio interview this week said, well, I followed her advice and I thought it was important to keep my career going. And so that's exactly what she's done. But it says that unlike Sherry Blair and most other leaders' wives, Carla manages to pull off her many roles rather flawlessly.
Controversial lyrics in the songs. All I'll say to you watching out there, if you know what a chrysanthemum means, do email us and tell us, because we're trying to work it out. So you're watching France 24, stay with us.